I get it, you staring at that glossy ad for the new Acer Swift 16 AI laptop, and wondering if it's really the kind of machine that can keep up with your nightly raids, your weekend video editing marathons, and still fit in a coffee shop bag. You've probably seen the hype about the 16-inch OLED screen and the Core Ultra 7, but you're also thinking about the heat that comes out of a laptop when you push it for hours, the fan whine that can drown your in-game chatter, and whether a $2,200 price tag is worth it compared to building a small desktop. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about who this laptop actually makes sense for. If you're a gamer, who also does a lot of creative work, think streaming, color-critical photo editing, or 3D rendering, and you need a machine that can hop from a dorm desk to a couch without dragging a tower behind you, the Swift 16 lands in that sweet spot. The 16-inch 2880x1800 OLED panel hits 100% DCI-P3 and 350 nits, so you get deep blacks and vivid colors that make both darkroom shooters and neon-lit shooters happy. That kind of color fidelity is a real advantage when you're grading footage or just trying to spot enemies in a shadowy map. On the other hand, if you're a pure esports player who lives for ultra-high refresh rates and you've got a separate workstation for editing, you might be better off with a thinner, 144Hz panel laptop that sacrifices some color gamut for speed. The Swift 16 caps at 60Hz, which is fine for most AAA titles, but can feel a tad sluggish in fast-paced shooters compared to a 144Hz screen. So, if you're chasing every frame, this isn't the top pick. Performance under the hood is driven by Intel's Core Ultra 7 256V, an 8-core chip that can boost up to 4.8 GHz. In my hands, the chip handled a recent open-world title at medium-high settings, with an average frame rate hovering around 58 frames per second. The Intel Arc graphics integrated into the processor didn't push ultra settings, but it held its own on titles that aren't GPU hungry. The real surprise came when I opened up Photoshop and ran a 12-track video render in Premiere while the game was still running in the background. The system didn't choke, the frame rate dipped a bit, but the laptop kept the game playable. That kind of multitasking stamina is what you get from the 16 GB of LPDDR5 RAM, fast enough to keep the memory bus from becoming a bottleneck. Heat is the first thing people ask about when they see a thin chassis paired with a decent GPU. The Swift 16's fan system is a dual-blower design that spins up aggressively once you cross the 85°C mark. In sustained gaming sessions, say, a 2-hour raid, temperatures settled around the high 70s, which is respectable for a 16-inch laptop. The fan noise was audible, a low hum that rose to a whine during heavy load, but it never drowned out voice chat. If you're sensitive to that kind of sound, you might want to keep a pair of headphones handy, but it's not the kind of rattling you'd hear on a cheap budget machine. Battery life is where the trade-off becomes clear. The 70-watt battery gives you roughly 5 hours of mixed use, some browsing, a bit of office work, and a short gaming session before you need to plug in. If you're planning on a full day of gaming away from an outlet, you'll be hitting the charger halfway through. That's the price you pay for a high-resolution OLED display and a powerful CPU. They both sip power faster than a 1080p panel would. For a commuter who can charge during the train ride, it's manageable, but don't expect a marathon session on the couch without a power brick. Portability is another practical point. The chassis is slim, just under an inch thick, and the weight sits around 4.5 pounds. It's definitely more portable than a 17-inch gaming laptop, but you'll still feel the heft when you're lugging it around with a backpack full of textbooks. The backlit full-size keyboard with a numeric pad feels solid, and the key travel is enough to satisfy both gamers who need quick actuation and writers who appreciate tactile feedback. I found the touchscreen functionality useful for quick UI navigation in creative apps, though you won't be sketching detailed art directly on the glass, as you might with a dedicated drawing tablet. Connectivity is future-proof. Wi-Fi 7 support means you'll get the fastest wireless speeds your router can throw at you, which is a nice perk for cloud gaming or large file transfers. Two USB-C Thunderbolt ports give you the option to hook up an external GPU or fast SSD if you ever need that extra horsepower or storage. The 1440p IR camera is decent for video calls. It captures a clear image with enough detail for professional meetings, and the built-in Windows Copilot integration can help you with quick commands or AI-driven suggestions while you game or edit. Now, let's weigh price versus alternatives. At its current retail price,